Hi everyone, I'm Summer from Eco Collective, here to talk a bit about slow fashion. You might have heard of fast fashion, which is kind of the way things tend to be going right now. There's stores that have 52 seasons a year, which basically means there's a constant cycle of new trends, new styles, which encourages people to think that they need to have new outfits all the time to keep up with the latest trends. I'm here to let you know that your personal style is a lot more important than the latest trend. When trends happen so fast, there's no way to escape waste. If something is in style 1 minute and out of style the next, it's pretty unsurprising that a ton of clothing, like a mind-boggling amount of clothing and fashion items, go to waste. In North America, 10.5 million tons of clothing goes to the landfill each year. That's about 30 times the weight of the Empire State Building, which is not even comprehensible to me. And that's not even to mention the clothes that are donated that end up getting sent to third world countries and sometimes even burned because nobody wants them. I really love the saying of buy less, choose well, make it last. Why? Everything that you own took resources to create, and buying and owning less means that what you do have is going to get used on a regular basis. Genevieve made an awesome video yesterday all about creating a capsule wardrobe. When you know your personal style and pick colors that look good on you, styles that you know you feel good in, look good in, and work with your lifestyle, you can thrive and have a simpler life by having fewer items of clothes. It's gonna make it easier to get ready in the morning. You'll get to wear your favorite pieces every day instead of the not so nice clothing that you're trying to wear because you feel bad that you bought it and now you're not wearing it. If you're wanting to minimize your wardrobe, another really awesome resource is this book called The Curated Closet by Anuschka Rees. She really goes into detail about how to evaluate your lifestyle, how to pick a color palette that works for you, and create a smaller set of clothing where the pieces pair nicely together and are things that you can wear again and again and will want to take care of and keep for a long time. Doing something like that, where you plan your wardrobe, you're intentional about it, means that when you're shopping, you might have a list or something super specific that you're looking for, and when you find it, you will know that it's right for you and you'll wear that again and again. When you go shopping without a plan, you'll tend to make impulse purchases that you might regret soon after. Maybe they don't pair well with the clothes that you already own, or maybe it just doesn't fit your lifestyle. This brings me to, when you're shopping, choose well. To me, choosing well, first of all, means choosing secondhand whenever possible. Anytime you choose secondhand clothing instead of new, you are cutting out the demand for new manufactured products, and you're diverting an existing product from the landfill that might have otherwise gone to waste. You can shop at thrift shops, consignment shops. You might even be choosing clothes from a clothing swap that you've organized with your friends or attended. If you're looking for something super specific, sometimes it's really helpful to shop online for secondhand items. I personally like to use eBay and Poshmark, and I've heard great things about Depop as well. All of these are places where you can buy secondhand items and search for exactly what you want in your size. One of my favorite features of eBay is actually that you can turn on notifications on the eBay app for a specific search term. So at one point there was a pair of shoes that I saw at Nordstrom and thought that they were just perfect for my curated closet, and so instead of buying them new, I just went onto eBay, turned on the notifications for the search term for that exact type of shoe and waited for only about a month or less until that exact pair of shoes in my size came up, and I swooped it up right away. I think you'll really be surprised with how much awesome stuff you can find secondhand. I will say though that secondhand shopping does require a little bit more patience than buying new. I think that's honestly a good thing because it allows you to think on your purchases a little bit longer before you just jump on it. The reason that secondhand can take longer is because you might have a specific item in mind, and maybe you go to the secondhand stores, look and look, and you still don't find it. You might have to make multiple trips or go to several different secondhand stores before you find exactly the right thing, unlike at a regular store where they might have the same style in every possible size and color. If you don't have the patience for secondhand shopping, or maybe you just really love to experiment, I highly recommend trying out a clothing rental service, something like Rent the Runway, which allows you to borrow clothes for a period of time and return them so that somebody else can wear them. Another part of choosing well is choosing durable items. Personally, I love to go with natural fibers like hemp, cotton, or linen. The other benefit of choosing natural fibers like this is that those fibers are not going to cause microplastic pollution. Microplastic pollution happens when you wash synthetic fibers in laundry, and small fibers of the material, which is made of plastic, goes through the waterways and can't be filtered by our water filtration systems and ends up harming sea life. If I do choose synthetic fibers, which I still have a fair amount of synthetic athletic gear, I wash them in a Guppyfriend bag, which is just a bag that filters out the plastic microfibers so that they don't get into the water stream. There are also attachments that you can buy for your washer that will just automatically filter every load of laundry. When you're shopping secondhand, look for durable items. You'll get a feel for which items are durable because, especially when you're shopping secondhand, they've already been used a little bit, so they've had a test run. If you can tell that they're starting to fade or pill, or some of the seams are looking weak, you might be able to rule those out because they might be lower quality items. If you really can't find something secondhand, then you can look for sustainable brands. There's a few different things that you can look for in a sustainable brand. One thing is a brand that uses sustainable materials. Some brands will use recycled materials like recycled cotton or even recycled polyester, which, like I said, you'll still want to be careful with when you're washing it to make sure that there's no microfiber pollution. You can choose recycled fabrics or sustainable fabrics like hemp, organic cotton, and linen. Hemp is actually a super cool material. It takes about a quarter of the amount of water to produce than cotton, and it's a bit more durable and doesn't require pesticides because it grows really easily. There aren't a lot of clothes made of hemp, but one cool brand that I have seen is called Young Maven, which I can link in the description. That's a great brand to go to if you're looking for something like a basic tee. There's also brands that make their products out of recycled materials. There's a Seattle-based brand called Girlfriend, which makes leggings out of recycled plastic bottles, which is super cool. But again, I'll remind you to make sure that the way that you're washing that is responsible so that we're not letting plastic microfibers into the environment. If you're looking for something like white sneakers, which is notoriously hard to find secondhand, there's a cool brand called Thousand Fell, which I actually recently purchased from. They make shoes out of plant-based materials, and at the end of their life, they take all the shoes back and actually break them into their parts and recycle them into new shoes. So it's a circular model. If the shoes are still good to wear when you donate them, they find those in need of new shoes and donate them while also educating them on how to send the shoes back for a credit in the future. Oftentimes when you buy new from a sustainable brand, you'll be paying more upfront for that item, most likely because you're paying for the true cost of what went into making it, including the resources and the labor. With fast fashion, a lot of these costs are external and not taken into consideration by the brand who's making it. The next important step to slow fashion is making sure that your clothes last. With your slow, intentional purchases, you have probably spent a little bit more time and attention in choosing those items, and sometimes more money if you did buy them new. So you'll be motivated to want to make them last. Here's a few ways that you can do that. The first is wash your clothes carefully and less. About 20% of the carbon footprint of your clothes actually comes from washing them. Washing less just means that less water and electricity goes into caring for them, and using the care instructions ensures that they will last longer. Also, when you're washing, as Marimar mentioned in her laundry video, you'll want to use a biodegradable detergent, which means that there won't be any chemical runoff from your laundry. When you're choosing a dry cleaner, you can also look for an environmentally friendly dry cleaner that doesn't use perc, a chemical which is dangerous for your health and for the environment. For something like shoes, you can choose a durable shoe and repair it if it gets broken. These shoes, I have repaired the zipper multiple times and they still work great. And I shine them regularly to make sure that the surface and material is maintained. For other clothes, if they're ripped or stained, there's some really awesome resources if you want to learn how to mend your clothes or repair them or even turn them into something entirely new. When your clothing gets ripped, torn, or stained, try repairing or mending the item so that it doesn't go to waste. The longer that you keep something in use, the better. Mending Matters is a really awesome book on mending that we have at Eco Collective if you're interested. If mending isn't something that you think you'll want to do, you can also take your clothes to a tailor who can repair it for you. And finally, if the clothes that you have really passed their time and aren't something that you want to wear anymore, just be sure that you're disposing of it properly. Anytime you can be more sure that your clothes are going to go to a good home, the better. That means that it's less likely to end up getting downcycled into something like insulation for a building or get shipped overseas to a third world country that may or may not want your old clothes. I like to start by giving clothes to a friend so that I can ask them directly if it's something that they want. Another great way to make sure that something will be valued is to sell it, because anytime somebody is spending money on an article of clothing instead of getting it for free, they might value it more and they've more carefully selected it. If I can't sell it directly on a site like Poshmark or eBay, I might try selling it to a secondhand store or consignment shop. If those don't work out for you, you can try donating to a charity shop, and if something is completely unwearable, save them the trouble and donate it directly to a textile recycler like Thread Cycle, which will just recycle the fabric into new fabric or into something like building insulation. It's not the most ideal, but at least it's getting reused. If you want to go into more depth in learning on this topic, I wrote an entire blog on Eco Collective's website, which I'll link below, about how to host your own clothing swap if that's something you're interested in. It's a great way to refresh your wardrobe and your friends' wardrobes, all without spending any money or creating any demand for new products. I also highly recommend checking out this zine called Loved Clothes Last. It's made by Fashion Revolution a few years ago and is super informative, beautiful to read. I will link the free ebook version of this zine in the description. It gives some great tips on mending, washing your clothes properly, choosing fabrics, choosing high quality materials, hosting clothing swaps, and much more. I also highly recommend checking out the documentary called The True Cost, which goes into detail about the environmental impacts and the ethical social implications of fast fashion and what we can do about it. It's a great documentary and will really get you fired up about fashion, trust me. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you learned some tips about how to slow your fashion down and be a little gentler on the earth. Please let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, and good luck!